This is the Giants Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Francisco Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E. Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KNBR, or maybe from some of these other Locked On Sports postcasts we do. We also do the Locked On Warriors and Locked On 49ers postcast as well. But today, the Giants continue to show cause for concern in their starting pitching staff after another subpar effort leading to yet another loss, this time to the New York Mets. Logan Webb struggled through just four innings of work, gave up 6 runs, marking his third consecutive start, giving up 4 or more runs. Are we actually starting to be concerned about Logan Webb right now? And also, Landon Roop hitting the IL. This is the last thing the San Francisco Giants need. With the trade deadline quickly approaching, what should the Giants do? We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Giants YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're tuning in, we appreciate it. Make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. My guy, Ben Kaspick, always does a great job. And today, I was hyped, man. I was stoked to go to another sellout at Oracle. I even put on the Sergio Romo World Series ring ceremony. You can see it on the YouTube channel if you're watching. I even decided to throw the Romo on, maybe tap into some of that good luck. And man, just from the jump, man, Logan Webb did not look like he had it working today. He was getting touched up early and often, gave up 2 runs in that first inning, came back with a okay second inning, but then third inning gives up a run. In the fourth inning, it all unraveled, gave up 3 in that fourth. And really, through the first couple innings, I thought Logan Webb would just do normal Logan Webb stuff. Like we've seen throughout his career that if he's going to have troubles, it's usually in that first or second inning. Usually that first inning is where Webby really starts to get a little wonky if he's gonna at any point in time, and he usually rights the ship. And right off the jump, first batter he faces Brandon Nimmo, doubles, and then you have Lindor hit a single, and Nimmo hits the third. Then Soto, a productive ground out, scores. Nimmo moves Lindor over to third base. Then a sac fly from Pete Alonso scores Francisco Lindor. So you're thinking maybe, all right, so the Mets generated a couple runs. That's all they're going to get from Webby. It wasn't all this hard contact after hard contact after hard contact type stuff. And the Giants did score a run of their own in the bottom of the first inning. Rafi Devers and Elliot Ramos both get on base. Devers with a double to set up a productive ground out from Willy Adames. And you're thinking at that point, all right, the Giants, they're looking okay here. And then in that third inning, man, it started to shift when Francisco Lindor smacked that home run over that right field wall. His 20th of the season. Lindor's having an absolute hell of a year, 104.1 off the bat on that one. And at that point, then Juan Soto, very next at bat, loud, hard contact on a double to right field. And I'm thinking, this isn't gonna. This looks like a troubling start for Webby. Then in the bottom of the third inning, the Giants ground into a double play, and then in the fourth inning, you have the Mets score 3 more runs. Webb really laboring through that inning. He gave up a couple singles, a walk. Just carousel of Mets reaching base and just rolling around. Everybody seemed to get on base for the Mets in that inning, and they pulled away at that point. It was 6-1, and the Giants didn't look like they had a whole lot going for him. Webb was throwing a lot of pitches. He also didn't seem to be working as quickly as he normally does. And I'm not going to pin this whole loss on Logan Webb. Obviously, I see my guy Jerry in the chat saying 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position tonight. Also a big deal for the Giants. Yeah, of course it is. If you go 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, it's going to be hard to score any runs at all. You leave all 8 runners on base. The Giants didn't do anything today offensively after the first inning. It just felt like just a slog from that point on. It was 1, 2, 3 in the fourth. In the fifth, they had a couple singles to start out, and then 3 consecutive outs. You had a lot of opportunities in this one. In the sixth inning, you had a nice moment with a Jung-Hoo Lee hitting into a double, and Mikey Yaz was already on first, and you thought maybe the Giants can make something out of this, but no, they couldn't do anything there either. Casey Schmidt strikes out to end that inning, And it unraveled after that. And even in the ninth inning, we saw Camilo Duvall come in for this one. And again, I've said this before, I will say it again. I do not care how long it's been since Camilo last pitched. Do not ever pitch this guy in a non-save situation, especially when the Giants are down by this many runs. I mean, he just looked not engaged out there today in the ninth inning. Gives up 2 runs, and before you know it, it's 8-1. And the Giants only had 1 less hit than the Mets did in this one. Mets had 10 hits. The Giants had 9. And you lose by 7. I mean, that's unacceptable, really. Like the level of lack of clutch that this Giants team has right now, the level of it just doesn't seem like they believe in themselves. And it makes me think back to that Willy Adames quote, which I don't remember if I brought up on the show or not. I don't think I actually did, but hopefully you guys saw it. It was a couple days ago during the Blue Jays series, so like a week ago that he said this, but he said, quote, "I feel like in the first half we were grinders. It feels like lately the energy's not there. That's not our identity. It feels like lately we've fallen off the bus. It's just not us. We have to figure out a way to get out of it as soon as possible." And if a guy like Willy Adames says that, when Willie is like the heart and soul type guy for this team, like the energy, the Energizer Bunny in the locker room, if a guy like Willy Adames is saying that, that's a problem, man. And that starts from the top. That's a management problem. That's a Bob Melvin problem. Like, you've got to have energy in the clubhouse. Even if things aren't going your way, you still got to have some kind of something to lean on. And it's clubhouse culture that good teams have that will start to dig you out of these types of ruts. And the Giants seem to be lacking a little bit of that right now. And we've seen teams, Bob Melvin teams in the past lack this. We've seen his last year with the Padres with that incredibly talented lineup underperform. And a lot of people blame Bob Melvin for that, not being able to tap in and get that energy going in the clubhouse. And it seems like there might be a little bit of that permeating into the Giants right now. It's not great. And today, I mean, it didn't look like the Giants believed in themselves at all, is where I'm going with this. Like, it seems like more of the same from Willy Adames, which is wild considering that this team just went back-to-back games scoring 9+ runs. I know they played the Braves, and the Braves aren't exactly, world beaters right now. I mean, for instance, the Braves were like 13 games under 500, and the Mets are 60-44. They're far over 500, 16 games above 500. So, I mean, you kind of wonder if that the Giants looking good against the Braves was just really the Braves looking bad against the Giants. It is more so than the Giants looking good against the Braves. This is the caliber of team you're going to have to be if you want to be a playoff team. If you want to be playing games in October, you have to be able to beat teams like the Mets, or at least compete with them. An 8-1 loss ain't competing. Logan Webb, again, giving up all these runs in this start. This is his 3rd consecutive start where he has given up at least 4 runs. He gave up 4 against the Blue Jays in his last outing, gave up 11 hits over 6 innings in that one. That was not a very good start for Webby. And against the Dodgers in his start before that, prior to the All-Star break, gave up 6 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Also wasn't his best outing. He gave up 2 bombs in that one as well. So really, I'm sitting here kind of wondering, like, with all the starting pitching issues that the Giants have right now, Logan Webb not at his peak of his powers right now throughout this season. We've seen him at much better points. Verlander never really figured it out. I mean, I guess he got a win in his last outing, and he did somehow stumble his way into 5 shutout innings, even though he only struck out 1 and walked 5. And then you have Robbie Ray, who's, in my opinion, just dangling by a thread right now with all the innings he's thrown. He's never thrown a complete season at post Tommy John surgery, and he's about his 5th or 6th most innings pitched in his career, his 12-year career. I mean, it's not setting up to look too great for the Giants in this second half, and you got to make a move at some point. We've talked about all the different levers that the Giants have to pull as far as going to get minor league guys. Well, the other lever that they have to pull is making a trade. So on the other side, we got to talk about whether or not this Giants team should be buyers or sellers at the deadline, which is fast approaching, because you got to do something. You got to S or get off the pot. You know what I mean? Like, you got to start prepping for next year, or you got to go in for this season and make a push for the playoffs and try to give this team the best opportunity that they got, the best shot that they got to make the postseason. What should they do at the trade deadline? That's what we'll talk about next on the Locked On Giants postcast. Today's show is sponsored by Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without all that stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch. You know how expensive all of that stuff is. The crab sandwiches, the Sergio Romo jersey that I'm wearing right now, all those things going to run you a pretty penny. Or maybe you could even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes all of that possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. And with Steph Curry bobblehead day being tomorrow and Sunday being the Lucille Funko Pop giveaway, and also it's the Mets. You got plenty of all-stars to go watch. Why not get out to Oracle Park this weekend? It was a fun time out there at the yard tonight, even though it wasn't such a fun game. The vibe, the ambiance, the atmosphere of an Oracle Park on a Friday night in summertime in San Francisco, it was lively, man. It was a sellout packed house. It was a fun time to be out there, even with the Giants taking the big loss. And so with Gametime, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And today's show is also sponsored by Gameday Hue. Today's episode is brought to you by Gameday Hue, and so is this hat that I'm wearing isn't from Gameday Hue, but their hats are pretty cool, man. And if you're a Giants fan like me, they really hit the mark. They make clean, no logo gear. So imagine this black Giants hat I'm wearing, but just an all black hat, man. That'd be pretty sick. You could go with pretty much anything, and it's team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. It's all about letting your colors speak for you, not giant logos. Just smart, versatile style that works on game day, on the course, on the golf course, or anywhere in between, out on the softball field, whatever you're doing in your free time, that they work out great. I would have loved to have one from Gametime Hue tonight for Cal Poly night out at Oracle Park. I would have loved a nice green and gold to go rep the Mustangs. You know, Mike Kruko, my guy, also Cal Poly Mustang alumni. It's a great time, especially when it's Cal Poly night out at the yard. Would be better if the Giants didn't lose this one 8-1. But either way, right now you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GamedayHue.com. That's GamedayHue.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals. So now it's the time to load up. Let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. That's GamedayHue.com, code MLB15. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and today the Giants, they just did not look very good in this 8-1 loss to the Mets. Starting pitching continues to be a problem. The offense continues to be a problem as well. I really thought that the Giants were going to start to turn a corner after that Braves series, man. I really did. Like, the offense looked really great. And the more that I'm thinking back on it, the more it feels like the Braves were just being the Braves. They're showing you why they're 10 plus games under 500. And the Giants, they beat a team that they should have beat. Now you're playing a team that's 16 games above 500. The New York Mets are first in the National League East and look to be a strong contender to win the National League as a whole. I think that they would have a shot at beating the Dodgers in the postseason. You saw them playing pretty tough last year. This is a good team. This is one of the best teams in the National League. And the Giants, they don't look like they can match up right now. You had your ace on the mound in Logan Webb, and you couldn't really do anything at all against this Mets team. It seemed out of reach after the fourth inning. It just seemed like the Mets were coasting to a win, and the Giants seemed just dead in the water, almost content with their loss that they were going to be handed tonight, and it just really lackluster offense as well as pitching. I see Craig the Unicorn in the chat. Where the JHL, the Jung-Hoo Lee fanboys at? Man, this is one of the most frustrating developments of the season, because I had such high hopes for Jung-Hoo Lee this season. I went out and bought a Giants City Connect, the new City Connects with Jung-Hoo Lee on the back, and it's just been so bad, man. His batting average down below 250. He did have 2 hits tonight. He had a double that the Giants failed to capitalize on that put runners at second and third, but still the OPS barely over 700. For a guy that's supposed to be a top of the order base hit machine, he's looking real bad against really hittable pitches. Like he's getting fastballs, four seamers right down the middle that he's just swinging through. And he looks like his swing is all sorts of messed up. It looks like he's trying to hit for power more so than he's just trying to spray the ball all over the field. I want to see this guy get back to just spraying the ball. It's what he does really well. And I would like to see that happen. But that's not going to be the only fix needed to make this Giants team competitive and make it to the postseason. They're 54-50 right now, not completely out of the playoff picture. You still are within striking distance for sure for the last wild card spot. How can you get there is the big question. And if you're asking me, I think the number one thing this Giants team needs to do, I know that we've talked a lot about a right fielder, going out to get a guy like O'Hearn at the deadline from the Orioles. And while I think that would be a good idea for the Giants, I think that there's a more pressing need. I think the most pressing need for this team right now, starting pitching, man. Like it is absolutely starting pitching. And there's a few guys out on the market. Sandy Alcantara is obviously a name that we've heard a lot, and it would be I think a aggressive move to go out and get Alcantara, but it's a big swing, and it's either a boom or a bust with him. He's either gonna, this guy's a former Cy Young candidate, had the Tommy John surgery, and now his ERA is ballooned up near 7 for the large part of this season. But recently, he's been a lot better. He's looked better in his recent starts. And Alcantara obviously has the stuff, if you will, that plays. I mean, he has the pitch quality of an ace in this league. He just doesn't have the command or the consistency right now to actually achieve that potential. But I would like to see them go and get a starting pitcher. Maybe Alcantara would be an option, but he's still not, in my opinion, the number one guy that you should target. I think the Giants should try, and maybe he's going to cost you something. But I would really like to try and see the Giants go and bring back a local kid, a guy who grew up just north of the San Francisco Bay, or in the North Bay area, just north of the Golden Gate Bridge, Joe Ryan, a guy who grew up in Marin and used to spend his time out at Stinson Beach, an all-star this year, and a guy who looks really, really good on the Twins. The Twins are willing to move him. You'd probably have to give up Carson Whisenhunt to get him. But I think that would be the type of guy that you would be willing to give up a prospect like that for. I love Carson Whisenhunt, and I've been campaigning for the Giants to bring this guy up for a long time because I think that we should see what this kid looks like. But if they have the opportunity to go get a guy who is proven, who can be a guy that can sign here long term, considering he's a local kid, I'm sure he'd want to be here. I mean, what better fit than a Joe Ryan for this pitching staff right now, which is now going to be without Landon Root for 10 days. He hits the IL. That's going to be an issue for the Giants going forward. Justin Verlander has been, bad, just plain bad and old. And Hayden Birdsong is in AAA. I mean, the Giants are planning to use a bullpen game for Hayden Birdsong's next start, which thank God, finally, they're doing something to give the starters some rest. But that's not going to be enough. Like, you can't just say, well, maybe we'll have 2 bullpen games the next time through the rotation while Landon Root is on the IL. You got to figure something out. And I think for the Giants, if a guy like Joe Ryan is gettable, you should go out there and go get him. And I see the counter argument right away from Austin Rodriguez in the chat. I wouldn't give up Whisenhunt for a 30-year-old pitcher. I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like, Joe Ryan is not going to be a guy who's gonna be around for the next decade plus. But he's going to give you, if you maybe could get him to resign, at least 4 or 5 seasons, I think you could get out of Joe Ryan. He is a solid pitcher in this league. He's proven. And if you're thinking that your window is starting to open, you go capitalize on it right now. Like, you don't wait around and just wait for all these guys to develop, which might not ever come to fruition. In baseball, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Proven talent over the prospect every single time. That's not the way it works in all other sports, but in baseball, I want the proven talent over the prospect every single time. I don't think anybody on this team is really untradeable. I don't think there's any prospect that you just can't trade. Even Bryce Eldridge, you could trade him for the right deal. I mean, I'm not saying that they should do that. I'm not advocating to trade Bryce Eldridge. And I think that he's going to be a solid pro. I do envision him spending his career with the Giants, or at least a large part of his career with the Giants. But I think that the Giants need help right now. They need pitching, and you can't just sit around and wait for someone who might develop into a great player if you can move him for someone who is currently a great player. There's no sense in waiting around. The Giants can go do something like that, such as getting Joe Ryan. You should do it. again, I wouldn't just be dangling Wisenhunt out there and hoping that some offers bite. I'm not moving him for a guy like Sandy Alcantara. I need a guy who's proven that can deliver right now. Someone that's not a big risk if you're going to trade a guy like that. Otherwise, dip deeper down into the farm. Maybe try and trade some other names that are, like Mason Black or some of these other prospects that the Giants have for a guy like Ryan O'Hearn, and maybe that will make the team a little bit better. Maybe you trade a Marco Luciano. I can't believe I was blanking on Marco's name for a minute there. Maybe you trade a Marco Luciano if you can still get something for him back, and you try and go get like a Luis Robert or something. Like just do something. You can't continue to roll with what you got and just be hung out to dry. And you got to do something. I would like to see a pitcher, but I wouldn't hate it if the Giants went out and got an outfielder, someone that can play right field. Yaz has just been uninspiring, and he continues to be uninspiring, batting .235 this year with an OPS below 700. It's just not working. It's not working for the Giants right now, offensively, pitching-wise. This team looks out of sorts. And for what it's worth, with just an update on the Landon Roop stuff, he is supposed to be coming back pretty soon. He said that he's, quote, not very worried about it. Bob Melvin said, we think it's pretty minor. So I think that Roop is going to return and be okay. But overall, it's not looking good for the Giants starting rotation right now. They speculated that maybe Bob Melvin speculated that maybe, you could either bring up Carson Wisenhunt or Kai-Wei Tang as this spot start for Landon Roop while he's on the IL. But we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot to go in this regular season for the Giants, and there's a lot of things that can change the outcome of this year for them. They're still in the hunt. I think they should make a trade. I don't think they should sell. I really don't think they should sell at this trade deadline. I think they're buyers, and I think that this is a team that can make the playoffs this year if they pull the right levers. We'll see what happens going down the stretch. Only time will tell. Until then, we got another game with the New York Mets tomorrow, and we will be coming to you live afterwards, as we always do on the Locked On Giants postcast. And for today, that's all the time we got. Thanks so much to everyone tuning in. I appreciate all you everydayers in the chat. Appreciate each and every one of you. It is not a show without you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.